I have two tabs open, ChatGPT and Claude. I'm going to ask it the same question. And you can see that both of them are giving me the same response. How? Because I built a second brain that holds all my context outside of any of these tools. I could plug it into Claude and ChatGPT or an open source model or connect it to an app that's custom and not have to rewire everything. Not only does it hold all my data, it also self-improves and is learning, plus is optimized for building agents because it holds different types of memory. Now, in this video, I'm going to help you build your own second brain so you have it for your personal and your business, because at the end of the day, your AI is only as good as the context you give it. And especially as we're putting so much time into these systems, you really want something that's sustainable and actually able to grow with you and your business and your personal life and have all these different checks from privacy to testing to best practices. And so I have specific tools that I used. I'm going to share them. This is what worked for me. I have a repo that's actually public that I built in mind that you will adapt to your use case. With that, let's get into it and open the GitHub repo. If you're a visual learner like me, here's a diagram of what we're going to build. You could see here that it says Second Brain with Oracle AI, 26 AI database. Now, I love my markdown files, but as we add more and more context, I needed something that, as my context grew, I'm able to search by meaning, connect it, remember what my agents learned, serve any AI use case. And to do that, Markdown isn't enough. You also need semantic search. You need it to be optimized for SQL and JSON. I wanted privacy enforced. So I went with Oracle 26 AI database. Shout out to them who sponsored this video, actually in San Francisco in the Oracle office, and felt like a lot of it was underrated. It has one of the most generous free AI database and also has something that most databases do not have, JSON relational duality, which is exactly the perfect feature for a second brain. What does duality mean here? For example, my agent wants this video as a card with the title and tags and link, right? But the database also wants it organized. So normally you have to pick which side suffers. Either it's the JSON docs, right? Or it's the tables. The beauty with duality is you don't need to choose. So you have both the document and the tables, and you don't have no copying, no sync jobs, there's no drift. So you have like two different faces, one truth, and the agent gets the easy version. I built this repo so you don't have to start from scratch. It has everything you would need to build the swappable second brain that's more sustainable with best practices, tests, evals, agents, even a UI to see how your database looks. Do a quick tour of the repo. So the sources folder is where your content lands when you're importing it. And what's happening is the loaders actually generate markdown files per the post or video or whatever content you have here. And this is your source of truth. The database is built from these. And it's also git ignored, so your content itself never gets pushed anywhere. Oracle folder is the database, which has the schema, the memory types. And I personally put the agents, also an MCP server, in that folder too, since that's what they're talking to. And tests folder is the regression suite and the evals. And also web is a UI to be able to see what's happening in your second brain. I built a little dashboard that will generate as you have sources in there. Now the scripts folder is those loaders. It's that pipeline that pulls your content in. Loaders are already written for a bunch of sources, Notion, Google Drive, your AI conversations, whatever you choose. I have a bunch of templates here. And it's all in one pipeline. So everything lands in the database. You can run it locally, of course, or in the cloud. I'd start local, and there's also a migration script here when you're ready to move it to the cloud. Now, sources are really important. There are things I decided to have private or public. There's things that it only does locally, like my invoices and my financials. And the beauty is this keeps itself up to date. So a daily sync pulls in your new content, updates the wiki, and organizes the memory overnight. So you set it up once and it just keeps going. Of course, there's a lot of automations and tests and all that to tell you if something is degrading or not as well. And that way you're not manually checking. Now here's where the second brain really pays off, building agents on top of it. Because an agent is only as good as what it knows and what it remembers, and your second brain gives it both, right? It gives it your knowledge and its memory in one database. And memory here isn't one thing. There's 4 main kinds. Conversational memory, which is the thread you're in right now, right? This back and forth. Episodic, which is what happened in past runs. Semantic, which is the knowledge that's distilled over time, and procedural, which is what actually worked, so it knows what to reach for next time. These are all just tables and in the same database as your content. So when an agent runs, it recalls what it learned before it acts and records what happened after. And not everything gets remembered. There's a research agent, for example, in this repo that fact checks its own answers against the sources it actually read, and only the verified stuff sticks, right? So you need all these evaluations. And there's even evals, so it never, for example, memorizes things like financials, right? And that's a whole idea. Every run makes the next one smarter. Now, the beauty is this is all connected to an MCP server, and I have the MCP server logic all here. And so I could connect here to ChatGPT, to Claude. This is why it was able to work right in the hook. I could have the same context, and I could easily also put this anywhere, my own application, an open source model, locally, whatever I would like. And low-key, this also helps when we run out of usage and we need to switch maybe to a different provider every time. So I'm able to hop into like different ones easily. So let's talk about how to actually get started. Give this link to your AI. I have the prompts written here because no two people work the same way, and your sources aren't mine and your pain points aren't the same. I built this repo in a way that it could be adapted for your use case. There's actually an agents.md file, which is instructions for your agent. It will save so much time for you. There's loops in there for testing and security. I actually added the prompts in here so you can easily copy and paste them, or of course, say it your way. And one pro tip, I always use voice AI to save me time. The prompts are all written out in the README as well. There's 3 of them that I put in there. They go in order. Follow them and they take you from a plan to your first source, all the way to your brain running inside the AI you use every day. So I'm so excited for you to build your second brain. This will give you one database. It could be local, could be in the cloud or hybrid, with Duality, which is the JSON for the agents, and this relational truth underneath that really improves this. Memory and an MCP, so every AI could reach the same brain, and the engine is swappable, so your brain stays put, and you could start local. I recommend starting local with one source, prove the search, talk out your version, use voice AI. I think it really helps speed up the process, and so that's the part that you get to keep, and that if tomorrow you want to swap to something, or that you just want in a different place, or you want to build all these custom workflows for yourself, you're really able to do that. As always, happy building.